Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is an upside down pineapple bundt cake. What I'm going to do is start with blending up our butter and brown sugar together, but I'll tell you all the ingredients as we go through, and let's get started. I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of room temperature butter, but you can also use margarine. I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to be using my blender on this one, so let's get started. I'm going to also add in 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. Just start your blender on low and get the butter and sugar lightly beaten together, and a teaspoonful of vanilla. You can eyeball it as well. It's not really a big deal to have a little bit more. So I'm going to start blending this together. Okay, so after you got that blended just a little, we're going to be adding in a small amount of orange zest and 1/4 cup of orange juice. So I'm going to take the orange juice from this fresh orange here now. So you just put a nice helping of the zest, because that's going to bring out those flavors. I'm just going to cut this one in half, and then I'm going to squeeze out about 1/4 cup of juice. I'm going to eyeball it. Alright, so after you've blended in the orange juice, just that little, we're going to put in 2 eggs now, and you don't have to put them in separate times. You can put them in all together. That's fine. So 2 eggs blended in, and if you want to do this by hand, usually that's what I do, you can, but this makes it quicker, and you can also do this in your food processor if you want to just do this portion of it. Okay, so I'm going to get those blended in. I'm going to be sifting in 2 cups of flour and 2 teaspoonfuls of baking powder and a pinch of salt. So pretty much what we're going to do now is just sift this all into our wet ingredients. Okay, so just sift it all in like this. So all you need to do now is mix your dry ingredients in with your wet ingredients until it's all blended together. So now if you need to use any more wet ingredients, which would be maybe your pineapple juice to bring it all together, that's fine, but it looks like that's more than enough. So this is pretty much what your batter is going to look like. Okay, so now that we got our dough ready, we got our bundt pan. I got a silicone one, but you could use a lower one, a glassed one, or ceramic. I got a little bit of butter inside here. I want to oil around the sides of my pan so that the dough don't stick. So what we'll do now is put layers of round cut pineapple into the bottom of the pan. So you're just going to line the bottom of your bundt pan like this with pineapples. Now I'm using round. If you want to use all crushed, or I guess about this size, you can use that as well. It doesn't matter. You can line it with as much or as less as you want. So that's about all we're going to do there. So just scoop all of your dough down into your bundt pan like this, and that's what it's going to look like. And you're just going to spread it around your bundt pan. So what we're going to do next here, this upside down pineapple bundt cake got to go into a 350-degree heat, preheated oven for 30 minutes, and you won't need any longer than that unless your oven, you know, you're having trouble there. You can try a little bit longer, but 30 minutes is about all you would need. So what we're going to do next is make a glaze for the top of our pineapple bundt cake. While we're waiting on the oven to heat up, we're going to put 2 tablespoonfuls, between a tablespoonful and 2 of butter into a saucepan, and 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So we're going to let that just melt down there a little. So what we're doing here now is just letting this start to melt down and to blend together. And on the medium heat, I'm going to be adding in a teaspoonful of vanilla, 1/4 of a cup of pineapple juice, because we're using pineapple upside down bundt cake. We want the flavor of pineapple over the top. So let this start to heat up. And we're going to zest in some orange zest. This brings out the pineapple flavor. You got that hidden flavor in there that you're trying to figure out what it is, but it's so tasty. All the citrus mixed together. So just put a nice helping in there, like that. So while this is boiling there now, we're going to be adding in 1/4 cup of powdered icing sugar into the pot as well, and we're going to stir that around, and this is going to get nice and caramelized. So you're just going to let it slowly simmer, maybe for about 5 minutes, and then after we'll take it off the heat. I do have a bundt cake all ready to go to show you what it looks like, so that we can get the finished result on this caramelized sauce and the bundt cake. So let's get to that one. So this is what your delicious upside down pineapple bundt cake is going to look like. So when you take it out of the oven, let it rest for a few minutes, then flip it out onto a plate or a grate just to cool down. And when it's like this, what we're going to do, we're going to pour over a nice helping of the caramel sauce that we just made then. It's going to go like this. Just pour it equally over, but leave a little bit so that you would have it for equal plates. So let's show you what's next. The smell of all of that caramel sauce and the pineapples, it's absolutely delicious. So after you've topped a little bit with a glaze, just put a little bit of icing sugar over the top, just the powdered sugar, and we're going to do another little bit of zest just to touch it up there. So now I'm going to cut a nice piece there for you just to see what it looks like. I'm going to take one of those pieces of the pineapple. Just look how nice that looks, and the pineapple on the top. So I'm going to bring this cake around there. So we're going to drizzle another bit of that caramel sauce over this, because we need it for dipping, of course, because anyone that got any kind of a cake or pudding you would want for dipping. I'm going to put a little bit of whipped cream there, a little bit on top, and this is what we got. Absolutely delicious. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit more zest over the top of that single portion. So this is as good as it gets. It's simple, it's easy, it's not a lot of work or steps, and one that I've been waiting to do and show you for a while now. So I hope you found this episode of Upside Down Pineapple Bundt Cake helpful for you today. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Bonita's Kitchen and on YouTube, and at the top right hand corner just hit the link and it'll prompt you to what you need to do. You can also visit me on my Facebook page and my website www.bonitaskitchen.com. So thank you for joining me once again for Bonita's Kitchen. From my kitchen to yours, you have a wonderful day.